You've heard of green beans. You've heard of haricot vert. But have you heard of the Carmellini bean? Ah, the Carmellini bean. Why is it called the Carmellini bean? Takes me back to 2000, 2001. We're out in the field on our hands and knees. Chef Andrew Carmellini and I, we're looking at the haricot verts, and he says, I'm gonna ask you a dumb question. Of course, I didn't think it was dumb at all. He says, you know, I didn't ever think about the French bean, the haricot vert, being this size before it's this size. He says, could we pick them this size? I said, well, of course we can, but I don't know what we would call them. Well, Chef Andrew's kind of shy. He says, well, that's not a problem. We're gonna call it the Carmellini bean. It takes 3 men an hour to pick a pound. They're small. Can you imagine these floating on a soup? Can you imagine these in a cocktail? How sexy is that? These things are amazing. You actually put them in a package by the count, so you know exactly how many you're getting. Look at them, all nicely rowed in there, picked to order. These things are beautiful. Let's take them over to Chef Jamie at the Culinary Vegetable Institute and see what kind of magic he can do with them. Come on, let's go!
Guess how many green beans are in this container? Any guesses? No. 20? 50? 75 green beans. These things are great. The Carmellini bean, it's a very special product for us. I mean, it takes a long time to pick these things, obviously, like a lot. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it because they're just perfect. And they're, I mean, really small. Cooking's optional, obviously. They're very tender, great on crudités, great on little canapes and first courses and small things. And anywhere you need this little sort of, you know, almost looks like a seahorse, you know, to make an impact. It's just a perfect bean. It's amazing. And it signals to us that like summer's finally here. So we're gonna do a little tart. And I'm gonna take a mushroom sort of bechamel or a cream of mushroom soup base from our friend's beautiful little oyster mushrooms. And we'll spoon that into a tart shell made of toast. We've just taken a piece of white bread and we sheet it out really thin, dress it nicely with oil, force it into a tart shell and bake it until crispy. So it's kind of like green bean casserole on toast. So for these tarts, I really like to just spill it on the seasons, really like get all the little perfect little parts of the season and get them in there. We've really been leaning into that a lot this year. It's one way to start a meal, and it's one way to really like paint a picture of where we are right now, outside in the fields. And that I think is really powerful. We'll keep this pretty loose. So then we'll top this with all these little great little perfect little ingredients. You see these little petite oyster mushrooms and a little diced potato and some split pea and some whole English peas. Everything's blanched, and we're just gonna kind of cover the surface of this tart. Next we'll come in with these Carmellini beans, and we'll leave these tops on. A lot of times when you get French beans, you're instructed to sort of cut that off, but no, we're gonna leave them on because they're tender and they're really young, and it's not like it's not like the green bean you got out of your garden. They're just a nice little French bean. It's almost like a green bean casserole, essentially, minus those little weird little fried onions. And finally, a little fresh chamomile goes a long way. It's a beautiful, strong, aromatic flower. I'm just gonna kind of sprinkle it on like our, seasoning, and just let it go. So yeah, you have, a pretty good representation of the summer season right here in a tart shell. A great way to start a meal and a great way to begin, a great dining experience. I love this. We'll just call it sort of a summer vegetable casserole on toast. Cheers.